Hey, you guys, Whitney and Matt are back and they're trying to shake up this dinner party, and we gonna talk about it. Hey, you guys, welcome back to Romance Review TV with Lady T, and I got another recap for you guys. Married at First Sight UK Season 7, Episode number 21. And yeah, we got to talk about this whole thing that's going on between Shanita and Jordan. We got to talk about Whitney and Matt. We also have to talk about just a little bit, because I don't want to go into it too much, with April and George and so much more. So before we do, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and please don't forget to like and share. Okay, let's first talk about Sophie and Jonathan. Now, Jonathan has been the biggest topic last week with regards to his comments about the whole horse legs and gaining weight and different things like that. And for the most part, it seems like, as much as, Sophie voiced her opinion, he's been pretty much receptive. And he also has said that, there's some comments that he shouldn't have made, things like that. So they get to this dinner party, and they have these letters that opposite couples have to anonymously write to another couple in the group. And the biggest thing is Jonathan and his comments and responses. And, she's like, look, we've worked through these things. And he's, saying that, hey, I might have said some of the wrong things. And, I've acknowledged that. A lot of time I'm joking a lot. And what it came down, and if you haven't checked out that video that I did, and I saw some of you guys' comments about preferences. Like I said in that video, both men and women have preferences. A lot of times, though, in this particular situation, the preferences of having the muscular legs and things is something that's not attractive to him. But at the same time, I gotta say, he did acknowledge that. And even Sophie, his wife, acknowledges it as well, as much as they're thinking that she's trying to cover for him. We don't know, or the other couples don't know, what happened, with the other couples, that is, behind closed doors. So, you don't know what conversations has been had until you watch the show yourself. So at least he did get that out there, and it seemed like Sophie supports him. Okay, so with Keisha and Kwame, so their biggest thing that they were the topic of conversation was this whole thing with homestays week, because of the fact that she didn't get to go to Kwame's home. So if you guys do follow me on TikTok, there's a whole explanation about that Kwame stated, and production was aware, Keisha was aware. And this has a lot to do with the fact of him and his children. He didn't want the cameras or anything related to this show involving his kids. So if you want to see that, that's also there. As for the other couples at the dinner party, pretty much their, statement to them was the fact that were they being legit with each other, and whether or not this particular couple is strong and, not just putting on a facade. And I think I even heard the experts even say that. They've come a long way, in my opinion. I mean, where they started off to where they are now, I honestly think they made a lot of progress. So I'm not going to take that away from them. That's just in my opinion. And, of course, we got to stay tuned as the season comes to a close, whether or not, as the experts said in this case, were they being actually putting on a front or not. But I honestly like the progression they have made. Okay, so now with Thomas and Adrian. Now, what they were presented with at the dinner party from the anonymous couple was the fact that it seems that Adrian tends to bring peace to Thomas, but they were saying that he should also provide that same peace to him as well. So, other than that, they really didn't have too much to say. They've also made a lot of progress in their relationship from where they started off at the beginning. He had a lot to say about the other couples, and I know some of the fans weren't too happy about that, but overall, they, as a couple themselves, they seem to be doing pretty well. So I won't go into too much depth with this couple because a lot of news came out in regards to George over the past 24 hours. But in the context of what we saw in episode 21 about them being presented with the fact that their relationship is fake. And they pretty much stood unified in the fact that, listen, you guys don't see what happened behind closed doors. We have conversations with each other. I mean, he admitted to the fact of whatever insecurities that he have, and they've been working through it. And they was like, you know what, we really don't care what the other couples have to say because we know what our relationship is at that point. And that's where they left it at. So that's all I'm going to say because there's a lot circulating around George right now. And so we'll just leave it right there. So let's talk about our golden couple, Shanita and Jordan. So they had a little bit of a tiff in this episode because of the fact that he feels that unless he have love, he don't know what a progression of them moving together and things like that. That love have to be there. And it's a process. Love is a commitment. It's not just this feeling that you hope is just going to drop out of the sky and fall into your heart. And yeah, okay, you can feel in love with somebody. But the thing is, it's a commitment. And they've only been a part of the process for about 5 or 6 weeks at this point. And so for whatever reason, when he said that, it did not sit well with Shanita. And a lot of I think some of the couples that was sitting around him and even some of the experts had said was that, he know it's something that he's trying to convey, but he's just doing a bang up job trying to convey that. Basically, what he's saying is that I love her. I'm just not in love with her yet. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's a progression of things. It's not something that's just going to boom, pop at the moment, at that time. And then, but he did come back to give her reassurance that, look, I'm all in. I don't want you to feel any less of our relationship. We're fine. It's just that I just want to let you know where I am, but I'm seeing a future with you. And I'm glad that he had to come back and try to explain that so therefore she can understand. That's one thing that they do have is great problem solving skills. And I was wondering what was going to happen with them when they have a challenge. And they seem to do pretty well when it comes to conflict resolution. They didn't turn into a big mess. She did get kind of, iffy, and she had a few things to say in her confessional. But otherwise, they did a good job at that. And then the couple of the night, Whitney and Matt. So they weren't too happy, meaning the other couples, of the fact of these two being let back into the process, especially when it came to Thomas and Zoe. They were not happy about that. However, when they got to the dinner party, they were able to explain the methodology of the experts. The experts was like, hey, they did the science, they looked at us, and we are highly compatible. Now, they were pretty much like, hey, you might not like what we have, but we absolutely love what we have. And I haven't seen a positive side to Whitney until she got with Matt. I mean, I got to be honest and objective here, but I haven't really seen this version of Whitney until she got with Matt. And as for Matt, they did ask him, hey, you came in being celibate. Are you still celibate? He was like, no. So obviously he and Whitney has did the do. Now, they're not a married couple. They're a dating couple as they entered back into the process. But listen, one of the other things that they were asked, and I think that was Zoe saying, hey, do you feel that you gave Gemma a real shot? And he was like, yeah, I got to my limit and I was over it. I checked out, and there were a lot of things that happened, I mean, especially, like I said, the self-pleasuring at the table, the comments at the wedding reception. I mean, for some people, that's a turnoff. You got some guys who find that ultra sexy. He just isn't one of those guys. And so obviously, as much as he tried, they take 2 steps forward, 10 steps taken back. He was over it at this point. So at the end of the day, we'll see how this is going to turn out and whether or not Whitney and Matt are here for the long haul. I know a lot of people are not happy with this coupling because of how, she was acting with Duca. And then, of course, he didn't tell Gemma before everybody else knew. Everybody else knew that he has moved on besides her. So that was not a good thing. But otherwise, we got to wait and see how this all pans out. Okay, so let's get the conversation started down in the comment section. What do you think about Whitney and Matt's relationship? Do you think that Shanita and Jordan did a good job on how, they whole handled that conflict? And then we know we won't say too much about April and George. And then Sophie and Jonathan, do you think that the couples are wrong about what they had to say in regards to their relationship? So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye.